Welcome to the Cultpix channel 666 in your podcast universe, coming to you now in sound and vision. That's right. We've taken the leap from being a podcast with just audio to being audio and video. I am still your host, Django Nudo, and with me,
I'm still your funny sidekick, the Smut Peddler.
Funny to be debated, but at least now the world knows that we both have faces that were made for radio.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
We are not AI productions.
We should, though. I've seen some scary things about you can get us to look like anybody. Anyway, let's not go too much into the present. We are all about the classic cult and genre films. And we've had a bit of a break because, as always, not because we're lazy, but because we're just too busy with other things. So in this show, we are going to have a look back at the year 2025 in our first top 10 list out of 2. The first one is going to be the top 10 nice films, but we're also going to be talking a little bit about other things that we got up to in the past year, including making this very, very fetching neon sign. Cultpix.
Yes, and I have mine here too.
It means we're a real company, like we really exist. We don't have an office, we have a warehouse.
No. But we have neon.
We have neon.
Yeah. And it's not actually really neon anymore, is it?
No, it's like LED, but we're not going to get into specifics. So, but it's been an amazing 6 months, and we're going to talk about things like the theme weeks we've had, but we're going to save that for the next episode when we're going to do the top 10 naughty films. And what we're going to try to do for both of these is we're not just going to just talk about the films, whereas previously we played audio clips from them. We're actually going to play video clips and excerpts from them. So you're not going to get to see the hanky-panky stuff because obviously this will have to go out on YouTube and family-friendly channels, but we will share some of the best from each of the films, hopefully.
Indeed. And I mean, this is going a step further for us, we being with both sound and image. So it's I guess it's the future is here already, as they say.
Yeah. But first, as they always say, a word from our sponsors, or in this case, our shameless self-promotion bit where we talk about the incredible adventures in Blu-ray that we've had this year. So, Smut Peddler, tell us a little bit about background, because Club Super 8 has done VHS, it's done DVD, and I seem to recall, was it 5-6 years ago, it actually started doing Blu-rays?
That's true. We made 4 Blu-rays about 5 or 6 years ago. It's a long time ago. But to explain also why we are talking about this at all is because Club Super 8 is the mothership, and Cultpix is the escape pod or whatever. But they're deeply interconnected with each other, and you and I are the sole proprietors, bosses, staff, you name it. We figured out after a long time that indeed home video or hardware isn't dead, but very much alive. And we started releasing films again on Blu-ray in April of 2025. And did that also in conjunction with our friends at OCN/Vinegar Syndrome in America. So most of our titles are simultaneously released in North America by OCN and in Europe by Club Super 8.
Yeah.
And I think we already made, is it 7 or 9 releases? It's been very, very hectic. I mean, of course, going along in parallel with Cultpix and all the updates we have done there, because as most of you know, we also started our second channel with the Something Weird channel in parallel with Cultpix. So there's a lot of really, really good stuff going on. But so Django Nudo, do you want us to go through the Blu-ray releases?
Well, let's give a little bit of a mention and show people what they're missing out on. And we should also begin by prefacing that we kicked it off in spectacular style because 2025 is a very, very special year. It was the year of Christina Lindberg. She had a very significant birthday. No need to mention her, the actual number,
A
because
lady's birthday, it's true,
she
yeah.
looks amazing for any age. And we kicked it off in Cannes at the film festival. And we had a big, we had a launch party. We got a mention in Variety magazine. We had a very, very famous director who got in touch with us and wanted to meet up as a result of it. So we got more attention than we could have hoped for. And it all started up with these two films. And this is the special slipcase edition of Anita, Swedish Nymphet, and Thriller, A Cruel Picture.
Yes, with
So
original
it's,
artwork from Graham Humphreys.
yes. And I can't show the back because it's the Japanese poster with nipples for
Ouch.
Anita. But I can show you, they call her One Eye, or Thriller, as we also call it. And yeah, it's beautiful artwork. It's a limited edition. They're numbered. This one is 387 out of 500 copies of Thriller, and this one 446 out of 500. And the amazing thing is, they keep selling out, don't they?
Yeah, I think most of the slipcover editions, limited editions, which are also numbered, are out of print at the moment. There are a few left of a title like Made in Sweden, also a Christina Lindberg film, which we also released in the same period. And here is the there you go. We both show it, and this is the other side of it. This is actually the old original Swedish VHS cover that we used for the slipcover. But inside it looks like this. This is based on the Italian poster for the film.
It is.
So a few of those left.
Should say some of them, and many of them are also reversible. So not the slipcovers, but the actual cover inserts. And we've got some amazing, for example, on Thriller, the Turkish poster, which is like the Italian poster, only more graphic and explicit. So we definitely shouldn't be showing that.
And we should also say, I mean, because we have a very intense slate of films coming up, but from the word go, from Thriller and onwards, all of our Blu-rays are region-free, and all of our Blu-rays are English-friendly.
English subtitled or English dialogue original. Yes, definitely. And more of them will be in other languages too. But this is the film that we showed for Christina's actual birthday celebration. I can only show you the back because the front is a little bit, even though the letters cover Christina's vital parts. I've gotten in trouble on LinkedIn for posting this one, so I dare not show it. But Sex and Fury with Reiko Eko. And we showed it at Biograf Victoria in Stockholm, and Christina was there.
Christina Lindberg, välkommen. Ett fyrfaldigt lever för Christina. Hon lever. Hurra, 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 hurra! And let me tell you, that birthday cake we made with the Thriller motive is the most expensive birthday cake I ever heard of.
Yeah. No, but it was worth it. I mean, Christina was thrilled for Thriller.
Indeed,
and we had such amazing, and we got video messages from everybody who had worked with her, who'd had her for festivals, who had been inspired by her. I think she was quite touched by it because she didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, we had video greetings from all over the world, from the almost 20 years that she has been touring in conventions and film festivals.
Yep. And here we have the final Christina film that we put out last year, which is the Christina documentary, and there we go, open it up. And it's Christina Lindberg, the original eye patch wearing butt kicking movie Babe. And this one's never been seen before. There was a television documentary, but that was shortened. This is feature length, and it just shows so much of Christina.
This is the director's cut of it. And there's also included a brand new documentary called Christina Lindberg World Tour, which is basically
Yes.
stuff I've shot over 19 years at conventions and film festivals, and it's basically sort of a testimony to Christina's popularity from fans from all over the world. And
Yeah.
also included on this one is a huge gallery of Christina Lindberg's centerfolds from back,
Yes.
I think, from 1970 on, and also the legendary Christina's Mushroom School.
Yes. I know. The only film she made in the 80s. And she directed it herself, didn't she?
Yeah.
On how to pick
So
the right
it's
mushrooms.
a how-to video of how to pick mushrooms, with the
Yeah.
beautiful slogan, "All mushrooms are edible, but some only once."
Once. But it wasn't just Christina Lindberg last year. We also had other films, and none more so, which we were super thrilled about, but didn't know how big it was going to be. The Doll, Arne
Yep.
Mattsson's Vaxdockan. Again, beautiful slipcover, limited edition numbered. And here is the film itself, or rather the Blu-ray box. I love the design. We have to give a shout out, I think, to Kalle, or Disco Rebel, as he calls himself, who has done so much of the layout work on this.
Yeah, Kalle does all the graphic art on all of the covers, as well as editing and creating trailers and promotion clips for us. So we're very, very happy about that cooperation. And to our
Yeah,
big
we've had some.
surprise, the doll, which was it's a black and white film from 1962. It sold out. The slipcover sold out at OCN on their website in 5 hours.
Yeah, in pre-release. I mean, I couldn't believe it, genuinely.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the film. I think it's nice, creepy kind of proto-giallo with Per Oscarsson, who I should mention, you get 2 feature films for the price of 1, because you also get another film beautifully restored by the Swedish Film Institute, who deserve a special mention here. But it's the film that he made about 10 years later, directed by himself, called Ebon Lundin. And it's a fascinating double bill of having both films on the disc.
Yeah, both films are situated in Stockholm, and both are about a lonely man living in a fantasy world. So they are very much connected to each other.
Yeah.
But Ebon Lundin
And
hasn't been shown to anyone since it was on
no.
Swedish television in 1974, I think. So it's a quite
Wow.
unique premiere.
And it's like a double incel bill before the term ever became invented.
Yeah, very much so.
Last but not least, we also kicked off a very unique series of 6 films, 2 of which were published last year, 2 of which published now in January, and the final 2 in February. And these are the Nikatsu Sweden Poronu. Dare I show the whole film? Yes.
Yes.
There it is.
Yeah, and this is such a unique discovery, because we found the posters, and 2 of the posters, actually for these 2 films, are in my poster book, Do You Believe in Swedish Sin? And then we started digging and found a Swedish scholar living in Japan, Johan Nordström, who is working on studying these films from Nikatsu, and he also knows the people at Nikatsu. So we got in touch with them. Long story short, is Nikatsu really wanted to distribute more Swedish sin films, because that was a big thing in the early 70s. But Sweden, as a small country, couldn't produce enough of them. So they came to Sweden from 71 to 73, and they shot 6 films in Sweden. And now they have found the original negatives. They have restored them in 4K. We are releasing all 6 films with tons of bonus materials, including commentary tracks with myself, Johan Nordström, and Jasper Sharp, one of the foremost specialists on Nikatsu Roman porno. And it will all end up in a beautiful box set on the 25th of February. And we were also quite delighted that the box set, which no one has seen yet, no one has seen the films yet, basically, we already sold 100 box sets.
Yeah.
In
it outsells the
advance.
films individually. I mean, it is one to be collected, but even so, like I said, the fact that they're not famous films, the actors, some of them are known, but they're not Stellan or Christina.
No.
and it's extraordinary. I have to do a special shout out again to Kalle for the design on the cover, because, of course, on the original posters, there's no bra here. This is all added on, little sticker cover on it. I just think
but
that's
it's on the shrink wrap,
genius.
so if you unwrap it, you will have a lovely surprise.
No, yeah,
And we should
it's
also
like a
mention
Christmas
that
calendar.
on both films there are video essays about the actresses Solveig Andersson and Inger Sund, who are
Yeah,
sadly gone but not forgotten. But
yeah,
they were
no,
sadly forgotten by the Swedish Film Institute at the annual movie awards when they had the silent minute for the deceased from that year. So we are trying to sort of
yeah,
resurrect them.
good. They
Yep.
deserve it. Plus, Watkins Hoos has my favorite line of dialogue, which I think is your favorite line as well.
A house.
A
No.
house! A hoose!
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, and there are actually some quite famous Swedish actors in it. And according to legend, all the Swedish actors in these films were promised that the films would never ever be shown outside of Japan. Sorry, folks.
Oops.
That was before home entertainment, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're very excited about those. And then we just keep grinding the films out. There will be a very exciting, crazy stuffed Blu-ray coming up in early February. A Swedish slasher, we will say no more. And there's another great film in February. And it just goes on and on and on. I think we have at least 1 or 2 films every month throughout the year, and so much in the pipeline. And we should also give, as you said, a big thank you to the Swedish Film Institute, who are now restoring a lot of the films. However, we are also ourselves starting to restore films because we need more. And we found original negatives. We have, as in the case of Anita, Swedish Nymphet, we have found alternative international versions of the film, negatives of those, and which we are also scanning and adding as bonus materials with completely different edits. And a very exciting title coming up in August, we found 3 versions of the film with 3 completely different endings. So a film is never a film, is it?
No,
it can be
it isn't.
So many versions of them.
Well, I know in a certain other horror film we have coming up, which has a completely different starting point than the one that's available on Cultpix to watch.
Oh, yes.
And again, it sort of throws the interpretation of the film wide open. It's not wide open, I should say.
And we should also, going back to the Nikatsu films, these films are there's almost no information online on IMDb or anywhere. And they are not included, have not been included in the national filmography of Sweden. Now we persuaded the Film Institute to add 2 of them, but there are 4 more that should be in that big film history of Sweden.
We are definitely making film history with these releases. So, it's amazing. But anyway, enough about Blu-rays, because we're going to be banging on about them in future episodes as well. And we're going to be talking about maybe doing a special on them as well. But for now, let's move on to the main part of the show, which is the top 10 list of Cultpix of 2025. And these are the nice films, which means that they could be horror, science fiction, they could be nudie cuties, anything that is not explicit, because we wanted to kind of separate the 2 out, because it doesn't make sense to mix them up, and they both deserve their own recognition. And so, without further ado, we're going to work our way from the 10th most popular to the single most popular. Do we need a drum roll? At number 10, we have Once Upon a Time, Marilyn and Pascal. And it's kind of funny that this should be on the top 10 nice films, because it actually comes from the naughty films. And this was a season we did with French erotic classics, with Marilyn Jess in quite a few of them. And she
And we
is, well,
should say
everybody
thank you
knows.
very much to Pulse Store, who is our partner for these films.
Yes. No. A big merci to Pulse for all of these films. And it wasn't just the films, which, by the way, are available to buy on Blu-ray from Pulse, and we heartily recommend them. So this is kind of a documentary behind the scenes or look.
Vers les stars, un nouveau code est né, fondé sur la sincérité et le respect d'un protocole librement consenti. La bienséance ne s'impose plus, même si cette star s'appelle Marilyn Jess. Vedette du cinéma pornographique depuis bientôt 10 ans, elle reste l'éternelle gamine turbulente du X.
Je crois qu'il m'a appelé tout simplement par téléphone et il m'a demandé de venir. J'allais rue du Colonel Moll.
Oui.
On n'aime pas dire Moll. Et pour un colonel.
It's very nostalgic and heartfelt because what it effectively does, this film, is it reunites the two actors, Marilyn Jess and Pascal St. James, who talk about the making of films together and what it was like to work together, what it was like to make adult films back then, and just the kind of relationship, the kind of interplay with the director. It really is very, very sweet and fun and informative watching. I don't know if you've, but yeah, old porn couple. And the funny thing is, this isn't really a standalone film. This was a bonus feature to what was on the disc, which is the main tape. But because we felt it was so special and gave context to the film, and we're all about the context, we thought we must have Once Upon a Time, Marilyn and Pascal. And it was a treat. And obviously people at Cultpix, members of Cultpix, thought the same if they watched it so much that it was the 10th most watched nice film of the year.
Yeah, that's amazing. But I think also that Marilyn Jess has a certain charm. And being a Facebook pal with her, she does the most fun updates every day. And so I can heartily recommend her Facebook page.
Yes.
So shall we go to number 9?
9. It's a returning favorite. It's been on the list in years before, and clearly people aren't tired of it or new members keep discovering it. It is, of course, 42nd Street Forever, Volume 1. We're talking pure grindhouse energy.
We've added a bunch of that series of trailer compilations, basically. And for those who are not familiar with 42nd Street, that was the grindhouse movie theater street of New York for many, many, many years. Until everything became, coffee shops and architect
Disney
offices, whatever. But this is the real deal.
It is. And we should, it was produced by Synapse Films, so a shout out to them, very good partner of ours as well. And we may or may not see another one from the series on the list, not saying anything more than that. Okay. But I think we have a category which is background films for parties, and this is definitely one of those, depending on what kind of party it is, assuming not a kiddie party.
But is it safe for office?
I don't know. Depends if you have office parties, but they're cutting down on those these days. It's all work from home, so make your own office and make your own party. And it's also one of those films which you recommend if you're just getting into genre films and cult cinema. Put this one on. It's like, an intensive course, but fun one on what it is that makes grindhouse films so special. Don't watch that Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino pastiche. Watch the real stuff.
Did you ever think when the hearse rolls by that someday you are going to die?
Don't miss the first horror motorcycle film ever made, Werewolves on Wheels. Rated R.
Moving on to number 8, we have Christina.
Yes, again. And Young Playthings, I heard about this film the first time when I read the book Incredibly Strange Films from the research people in America, which has a huge text about Joe Sarno and his oeuvre, but also has an essay on specifically young playthings. And this film has basically been a lost film for many, many years. There has been a 10th generation VHS bouncing around on YouTube. But we were lucky to find a 16mm work print of the film in Joe Sarno's basement outside of Stockholm some years ago. And we used that to create the best possible version so far, even if it wasn't complete, so we had to use some VHS footage. But it's as good as it gets. We have recently found 3 35mm reels of the film in America, which are being scanned right now. So we are looking at a bigger restoration in the future.
There could be a Blu-ray, you're saying? Might we be
Yes.
talking about in the future again?
Hopefully, yes.
Delightful.
But it's a fantastic film.
Hey, can you do a cartwheel? Of course I can do a cartwheel. Oh, Priscilla, ever since we were kids, how I love you.
And the basement find at Joe and Peggy Sarno's Stockholm apartment, it wasn't just the work print. You found more things from Young Playthings there as well, did you not?
We have actually all of the clothes from the film where they are setting up a play in an apartment. They are looking like knights and maidens in distress in very, very strange scenes. We even have the moon and the stars in cardboard that were on the wall. But we also have the double-sided dildo rocking horse from that shoot, as well as some other amazing stuff. We have a theater knife, one of those that are inserted in the shaft of the knife, and it's incredible. We took over everything that was film related in that basement locker. Also some very, very iconic artifacts from the Swedish film Fäbodjäntan or Come Blow the Horn, which will have its theatrical premiere. And I'm not talking cinema theater, but movie theaters, but we'll have a theatrical premiere in Stockholm's Royal Dramatic Theatre in March. So that's an iconic film that's now getting a play treatment by a young independent theater group.
Amazing. We're definitely going to be talking about that one in the future. But moving on from that one, we're on to number 7. And number 7 and number 6 have a funny connection, which we'll get into in a moment. But number 7 in the top 10 nice list of 2025 is Space Thing. I need to say that with a kind of dramatic science fiction voice.
I love nudity in space is something very, very special. Very close to my heart.
Well, we're all about genre films, so what better things than nudity and science fiction?
Yep.
I mean, it's this is, of course, a David F. Friedman production directed by Byron Mabe, though I think Friedman also had a hand in the directing. Yep. And it's kind of Star Trek with more nakedness. It's a really, really weird one because it's effectively somebody imagining themselves in outer space, and it's this all-female ship by Cara Peters, who's the mother of this troop of female space cadets, and anyway, you're not really watching it for the plot. You're watching it for the boobs, for the
dialogue
reference.
Yeah,
for the dialogue. Yeah, they're very, very deep.
Yeah, and 1968 is a great year, I think, for exploitation cinema as a whole. So it's lovely.
Oh, there. I'm sure everything is all right now. Astrid, come. I need a rub down.
Strangely enough, I was almost happy that Cadet had made it back safely. Even though all these people were my enemies. But now I had something more pressing to worry about. She seemed to want something from me.
Isn't it wonderful?
What?
Oh, everything. If I go into the bunk room and change into something more comfortable, will you come and talk to me?
I have some cleaning up to do.
Well, we often talk about it being a time capsule, but it's really understanding, where cinema was at this stage. It's obviously before the hardcore made an entrance onto the scene, and it was also a time when shows like Star Trek were very influential, and the space race, the journey, the moon landing, everything that was contributing to it. But it's a very down to earth, get my pun there, DIY kind of version of a space epic, and I'm pretty sure where it looks like some of the scenes were shot in Bronson Canyon, which we can talk about as one of the theme weeks next week.
Yeah. And what is the connection, pray say, to number 6?
Well, do you know which year Space Thing was set in?
No.
Or can you guess?
No.
It was set in the year of 2069.
Oh, okay.
So a few years into the future. And funnily enough, number 6, the film, and I'm going to show up my German here, is called Ach jodel mir noch eine, stoßt Strupp Venus bläst zum Angriff, better known under the English title of 2069, A Sex Odyssey.
Right.
See, same year. Wonder why they chose 69 as the year of the 21st century.
Now I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Too obvious.
And this was with a new partner, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. We have a great relationship with Dardu.
Yep.
Am I pronouncing it correctly?
I don't know how they want it pronounced, but let's say Dardu for now.
Dardu. They're German. Let's call them Dardu. And it is, of course, a Bavarian Lederhosen comedy, where a spaceship comes and kidnaps unsuspecting Bavarian Lederhosen farmers or, sheep herders, whatever they are, and take them up to the spaceship. All sorts of adventures and lots of nudity ensues, as it does. But this was part of the huge German sex comedy boom of the 1970s, of which we did many, many films, not least from the Schoolgirl Report series. And also we have House, Frau Report, and other ones, all of them, very kindly, in partnership with Dardu. So I'm sure we're going to be talking about those in the future.
Yeah, and there we have a Christina connection as well. Christina Lindberg is in Schulmädchen Report 4.
Yep. But it all follows a kind of pattern. The Schoolgirl Report's obviously one thing, which is episodical little vignettes, but this one's a full story and science fiction as well. But it's kind of absurd German slapstick humor, and they do have humor. That has to be seen to be believed, really. But it's an interesting comparison. This one was made a few years later than Space Thing, but I love the fact that we've ended up in an inadvertent double bill of science fiction sex comedies set in the year 2069 in the 7th and 6th spot on the top 10 list.
And this is also good because this is something we have discussed for a long time, to do a whole theme week of nudies in space, and we have identified so many of them. It's just a matter of getting the rights and finding the prints of them or the files for them.
And I think we should hold off until we get our hands on Flesh Gordon, because that one stands head and shoulder and other organs above the other ones.
One of my all-time favorites.
Push it. These are the goodies, as you say, male spermatozoa, the precious seed without which the mightiest civilization withers and dies. On our planet, we have only a few specimens left. Naturally, these primitives can't appreciate the immense gift they possess. Many use it several times a night.
Don't the seeds ever run out?
How do we get the seeds to go out? We haven't learned. Advanced research indicates that a certain part of a man's body appears to undergo a change. We're working on it. We know, for instance, rubbing is very effective.
Rubbing is the way it's done?
Yes. However, reproduction of spermatozoa is something even our technology hasn't been able to master, and for that reason, we were all sent here. Our task is to get a supply that will last us 10,000 years.
Now we're in the top 5, moving swiftly on. We are back again with Christina.
Yeah, this is her last starring film. It's from 1974, and after that she re-educated herself to become a journalist.
She was,
and here we also have
airline.
Solveig Andersson, another favorite, who's in the Nikatsu film Drops of Honey, for instance.
Yeah. No. And it's, so watch it for being Christina's final film. Again, it's very much portrait of the kind of sexual revolution time in 1974 when it's recorded and set. And she is, well, I don't know how much we need to get into the plot, but it's definitely a relationship sexpose.
Hi. Hi. Is the battery dead? No, I think it's as stupid as being out of gas. There's a gas station down the block. I don't know what to do with myself these days. Peter won't let me work. I used to model a lot for that agency. But the photographer was very unsympathetic.
We swiftly move on to number 4. And again, this is a weird one that keeps coming up. Obviously, I do a weekly top 10 of the most popular nice and naughty films. And this one keeps coming back. And it's a fun one because it is a film that features a Golden Globe winner.
And also a European Film Awards winner.
That's true.
Since last night.
Oh, I missed the headline.
Yeah.
Well, good on
yes.
him.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed.
We love you, Stellan.
Stellan Skarsgård is one of the co-stars in this film, together with a handful of hardcore porn stars.
Yes, which makes it so fascinating. We know that he got his willy out in several of his early films, but this is the first one where it, like you said, he mixed with not just legit actors, people like Christina, who obviously starred opposite him in Anita, but genuine hardcore action. There isn't any hardcore action, but the actors are there, and he must have known or been aware of who they were and sort of what they had been doing.
Yeah, and I think we have to talk about one of the other stars here, Chris Chittell, or Chris Canyon, as he calls himself here, who went on to become one of the regulars on Emmerdale Farm.
Yes, we never get tired of outing him, but he was very much part of that scene.
And I think also this is a great example of we don't have our members, our fans, are not super geeks in terms of high definition polished stuff.
This one was definitely not restored by the Swedish Film Institute. Instead, this falls under the subgenre of mastered from glorious VHS.
Yeah. That's the only living material we found of the film. However, drum roll, there is a negative has popped up somewhere in the world.
Woo-hoo.
Which is probably the hardcore version of it, because this is the British soft version.
Yeah. We should say when we talk about restorations is that we do have a window. So for a film like The Doll, obviously comes out on Blu-ray, then we will shamelessly try to sell it to other streaming platforms who might want to have it in HD. But we do eventually put them in HD on Cultpix as well. So it's not that we make people suffer through VHS quality for all of the films. We do try to get the best available copy that there is, but when there is a new restoration, obviously it goes through different platforms first before we upgrade the Cultpix version.
Yeah, and this is, I think it's an important point that we always try to get the best material possible for all films. But as we also know, the producers from the 60s and 70s, they didn't care about longer life of the films. They exploited the films in theatrical screenings, and that was it. So a lot of these films were like the negatives were lost, even the prints were lost, and we want to show the films anyway, and we do.
Haven't you seen a woman in the nude? Of course. Well, why are you staring?
You get on so well. I've been thinking how nice it would be if your brother wasn't around. We could make it. You and I.
I'll tell you, Peter. Richard is not my brother.
We're now in the top 3 of the nice films, and they're a fascinating selection. And sort of inadvertently, our lovely members have ended up creating something unique that says a lot about Cultpix, but also about film history. In number 3, a film that I think has previously been number 1 in certain years, it is Color Correct My Rooster.
Exactly.
Color Correct My COCK.
Yeah.
I'm becoming very prude now that we're on video. I can't say cock.
No, but we are facing so much censorship in social media, so we are getting more and more cautious. I just saw that the word white is now spelled YT.
Oh.
So
if it ain't white, it ain't right.
It's always weird. But this comes from our friends at Vagrancy Films in London, Ontario, Canada, who are also the wonderful, wonderful hosts of Shockstock Convention. And these are crazy, crazy guys who also did a wonderful celebratory video to Christina Lindbergh where they tried to catch squirrels in a park with a fishing rod and with mushrooms on it.
I love them.
Insane.
Again, a compilation film, and the title of it comes from, as I'm sure people who have heard us before remember talking about this, is the fact that they just pretty much spliced it together. They have a funny intro film, and when the question was raised of the quality of it, these are faded copies, these are scratched, dirty, torn, with crackling sound and so on. Shouldn't they at least try to improve the look of it? And the response from them was, Color Correct My Cock.
Yeah, it's a funny story. And there's also a Color Correct My Cock 2 on Cultpix.
Yes. Which I think landed just outside the top 10, but it keeps popping up there. Compilations, very, very popular on the Cultpix top charts.
Yeah.
They are young. They are free. The night is theirs. The sea is filled with promise. But they are not alone. Below, a killer waits. There's a monstrous killer churning up the sea.
The accident happened here.
Have they got the shark yet?
It's still being hunted. It won't be long. They say that a shark returns always to the scene of an attack. When it comes back, I'll be waiting. I'm going down alone tonight. I'm going to kill it.
Now there is vengeance. There is man against the sea's deadly high executioner. A monstrous killer is churning up the sea. Tintorera.
Presents the Firetron Formula Super Ball and Super Elastic Bubble Plastic. Plastic bubbles from a tube. Just squeeze it out and blow it up. They last and last. Firetron Super Ball gives you 50,000 pounds of compressed energy for crazy bouncing tricks. Firetron Super Ball and Super Elastic Bubble Plastic, sold separately from Whammo.
Moving on to silver medal number 2, and it is the clinical curiosity that is the oral generation from 1970. So it is an educational loophole film. Do you want to tell us a bit about it, or should I?
Well,
Or
tell
should
me
we show
about it.
something of it?
I know very little of this film. I haven't seen it myself.
Well, again, it's a film that's all about the timing and when it came out. So it's 1970. It's the United States. You know, we've had the Summer of Love, Flower Power, but hardcore films were still not legally available. I mean, you could watch them in stag screenings and illegally, so on. But the revolution hadn't yet happened when it came to allowing full-on intercourse to be seen on the big screen. So you had these semi-educational films. Obviously in Sweden we had The Language of Love and other ones. And this one tried to frame the subject matter as a documentary study, so avoiding censorship from the Vice Squad. And it really fascinating meta kind of film because it looks at censorship itself of cinema and how filmmakers effectively outsmarted it. So again, does it belong in the nice category? Does it belong in the naughty? It kind of does nice because it is before things became full-on explicit, but it is that kind of milestone, stepping stone on the journey of exploitation cinema, from nudies, from cuties, from educational to full-blown organs in motion, as we like to call it.
Yeah.
So
which
the oral
all started,
generation.
Yeah, and it all started with the nudist camp films in the 50s. Because every filmmaker has tried to, work around censorship one way or another, and so the nudist camp films about the wonderful lifestyle of playing badminton nude, that was the starting point for it.
Sadly, there's no Doris Wishman film in our top 10, but of course we do love her, and she has been featured here before, so do check her out on Cultpix.
In today's American cities, the proliferation and availability of sexual information for the curious man has increased at an astounding rate. An almost unending stream of material is within easy reach of most male citizens of legal age. While much of this material, both in the form of motion pictures and books, is designed merely to titillate the senses of the viewer, much valuable educational data has reached the market. There can be no question that we are living in an atmosphere of great sexual liberation.
Well, that just leaves us with a #1 film of 2025. The tension is unbearable. I can literally hear people leaning forwards towards their screen phones, radio sets, wherever it is that they're consuming this. What could have been the #1 film of Cultpix in 2025 in the nice category? Is it a horror film? Is it a documentary? Is it comedy? We had spaghetti westerns. We had Ozploitation. What could it be? Well, it can be revealed now. It's a what if masterpiece. It is nothing more than the film Teeny Tulip by the great director Gerard Damiano. And it's an interesting one because it's an overlooked, I don't know if masterpiece would be too strong a word, but it's definitely one of his best films. Gerard Damiano, of course, is known as the director of Smut Peddler.
Deep Throat.
Deep Throat, indeed, with Harry Reams. And again, this is, like the film before, one of those pivotal films of film history. Again, when cinema exactly was making the transition to hardcore. But it's something that's known as softcore. Do you want to have a stab at trying to explain what softcore is?
Well, I would say there are like 3 varieties. There's softcore, which is, of course, it can be full frontal nudity. You go over to hardcore or XXX, as we call it, which is basically, organs in motion, as we call it, which contains penetration. But then I would say that in between those is the term soft X. And we've seen a few examples of those, like the Ed Wood film is called Necromancer or something like that.
Yes.
Where you see the organs, but you can't touch the organs. So it's like people fondling and caressing thighs and bellies, but not touching the naughty bits.
No. Or the hand slips into the underwear and you can tell there's something going on there, but you're not allowed to see it. It's all happening, but suggested visually. So, yeah, the soft X is fascinating. I'm sure we could devote a whole episode to it if we had somebody truly knowledgeable to talk about it rather than us wittering on. But it points to a fascinating kind of parallel universe. You know, if hardcore films had never been legalized, would we have seen a string of these kind of soft X films taking off in the 70s, maybe into the 80s and the 90s before inevitably, I suppose, probably would have been legalized. But Teeny Tulip, the fact that it is this soft X and the fact that it's by Jared Damiano, so it's not just any soft X title, it is probably one of the best, if not the best soft X title, if not in the world, definitely the best one you'll find on Cultpix. So it is cinema history right here.
Yeah, it's quite surprising that it ended up on the number 1 place, I think.
I know. I did not see that coming. And so when I compiled this and sort of pulled the data, it's fine. So rather than us talking about it, why don't we finish with a short clip from SoftX without maybe moving into the X, but just showing a little bit about what this film is. And obviously to watch the whole film, if you're not a member already, do join Cultpix to watch it. So here is Teeny Tulip.
She's ready for you, Mother. And with a little coaxing, I'm sure she'll be quite willing. Mother is about to give you your lesson. Pay strict attention to her. And to everything she says.
Get up. Come on. Get over here. Stand right here where I can see all of you. Take your clothes off, Karen. Come on, Karen. Drop them to the floor.
Right, Smut Peddler, any closing thoughts on the top 10 nice list before we wrap this show?
Yeah, just a little analysis, because I think your point about what would have happened with films if hardcore hadn't been permitted, and we do have the answer to that in Japan, because Nikatsu went on to make 1,000 films from the early 70s until the mid 80s in the Roman Poruno genre, which means that you cannot see even pubic hair. But they managed to make erotic films anyway. And I mean, from the films that we are releasing now, for instance, like Blonde Animal, they are always having their quite large underwear on in bed, but still enjoying themselves immensely. So I guess there is sort of like the little village in Asterix. Japan went on to do that kind of thing. While the rest of the world, or most of the world, allowed hardcore porn.
It was that alternative universe. And obviously, even to this date, you cannot show, although they have now hardcore films, but they're always heavily pixelated. And I've always wondered if Japan, not that it will, one day changes the law to allow it to be seen, not just on the internet, but on the films, will there be a generation of Japanese who will just die of shock of seeing what actual intercourse in the big screen looks like?
I don't know, but I guess they have VPN tunnels in Japan too.
They do.
Probably, yeah.
But this is all about looking back, not looking at the contemporary. And I want to thank you for tuning in to this episode, the first episode in sound and vision, because you've not just been listening to, you've been watching the Cultpix channel, coming to you now in picture and sound in 2026. Still with me, your host, Django Nudo.
And the Smut Peddler.
Goodbye.